Howdy and welcome, everybody. It is great to see you today. My name is Aaron Patuch, and I'm with the Office for Student Success. And one of my duties here is coordinating the early alert system for EDGE grant courses. That's including Biology 111 and 112, Chemistry 107, 119, and 120, and then select sections of History 105 and 106. If you're a new person, like an advisor or new personnel, faculty member, welcome. It's great to meet you. Hope to present key aspects of the program and hopefully excite your interest in the early alert system. If you're an individual who has been with the system for some time, welcome. Hopefully able to give you some new information to add to your arsenal with regard to the system. So at any rate, we are going to get started here. And first, we're going to look at some data. So what we have here, this is very recent. This is fall 2022. And what we have here are, we have 4 of the courses. We have Bio 2, Chem for Engineers, Gen Chem 1, and Gen Chem 2. And we're comparing students of fall 2022 to fall 2021, so a year prior. And we're looking at the percent of DFQW grades. And that's how we're defining here, I guess you'd say, maybe not being successful. Now, I understand obtaining a Q drop, right, is a lot better than an F. But if we're looking at students being able to make academic progress and persevere, we're looking at the A, B, and C grades. So that's why we have DFQW. But what we can see for those 4 courses is that students in fall 2022 were less likely percentage-wise to earn DFQW grades compared to their counterparts 1 year ago, especially for that Bio 2. They are very significant and relatively significant for the others too. So we are very excited to see this because we know folks all across campus are involved with this system and working really hard to help students connect to resources and be able to turn things around. If you look at the bottom there, bottom 2 rows, it is Biology 1, and then our History 105. I don't have History 106 here just because we don't really have an accurate comparison, I guess, if you will. But of course, we will in the future once it's in the system longer. But at any rate, we could see for Biology 111 and History 105, it actually increased the DFQW grades. Definitely something that we want to look into for the future, maybe some added support, some changes, tweaks to the system. But that's something that we'll probably look into maybe in the summer. We have a longer period to kind of digest things and then come up with changes. But at any rate, though, 4 out of 6 is pretty decent. And we were very excited to see that. So we have some continued data here for fall 2022. Here we're looking by alert type, okay? So what happens when a student gets an alert? Let's say it's early alert 2, which is usually week 5, week 6 after the first exam. They get early alert 2, which means, unfortunately, they didn't do so hot on that exam. What happens then? We hope they're outreached, right? Maybe it's an advisor, or maybe it's someone at the college department level that reaches out. Maybe the instructor, right? But we hope that something happens to help them be able to turn things around. And that's the same for early alert 3, which is usually around week 10, week 11. By that point, a lot more has occurred. But can students turn things around? And very similar to the other table, we're comparing fall 2022 to fall 2021 for the same courses. And we could see here for all courses but Chem 1, for both of those alerts, EA2 and EA3, students essentially were able to turn things around, right? So for example, if we look at Bio 1 there, EA3 very late in the semester, students are in dire straits at that point. 62.55% earned DFQWs versus 76.99 a year prior. That's a pretty significant difference there. The only one that obviously really stands out as something to really look at would be the Chem 1 there. And again, it's kind of similar with to the other table. These are things that we're going to talk about, and we're going to hopefully come up with solutions. But at any rate, this is very promising for the system moving forward. This is a table that sort of supports the efforts of our academic peer mentors. This is a group of amazing students over with our Friends in Residence Life, and they are the pioneers in outreach of Early Alert 1. So that's at first alert, end of week 3, beginning of week 4, usually attendance, participation, what other kind of issues? Maybe not doing their first homework assignment or first quiz. They are key to being able to outreach to on-campus students. So this supports their efforts here. So what we have here is Early Alert 1, and we have, if you see the 45 there in the second column, so Residence Life Outreach. These were the 45 students who were successfully outreached by an academic peer mentor. In comparison, if you go a couple columns over, no outreach for EA1. There's 13 students, and that's due to a myriad of reasons, really. So what we can see here is the students who were successfully outreached, right, had a decreased chance of ending up with Early Alert 3 later in the semester, meaning they were able to turn things around and not receive a future alert. Very interesting, right? Very significant, and differentials right there, 44.45%. This, of course, also continues to the end, right? Okay, Early Alert 3, that's one thing, but what about week 16, when final grades come out? We can see here that those same students, there's a 17.1% difference in terms of DFQW grades, showing that the students who were successfully outreached by an academic peer mentor actually fared better. I know I'm not trying to say there's a causal relationship or anything like that, but perhaps there is an association. And just like we did, I believe it was spring of 2022, yes, when academic peer mentors, I think it was like 99% contact rate. That's something that we want. We want to kind of eliminate the control group. We really don't want to have tables like this. But when we do, it's important to show that, okay, maybe there is some of importance here with having this in that initial alert. So, and then we're going to look at right here, this is on campus versus off campus. So we could see with all courses but Bio 2, students who live on campus had a decreased chance of earning DFQW grades. So we were just like the other table, the previous one, academic peer mentors are involved with some of these students, mostly the Bio 111 students. But at any rate, on-campus students fare better. Could be a lot of reasons, right? Maybe the resources are more, excuse me, accessible. Perhaps, could be to some kind of mentorship that they're receiving and other resources. I mean, it kind of goes on and on what the reasons could be. So, but very, very interesting. And we actually seen this the last couple semesters, but here we have, it was at 4 out of the 5 courses on campus students less likely earning DFQW grades. So here we go. Here are the dates. This is what y'all came for. Early Alert 1 will be February 6th. Which is coming up pretty soon. Actually, it's January 20th right now. I'm sure when y'all see this presentation, it's going to be a lot closer to the 6th or maybe even after that, depending on which alert you're interested in. Early Alert 2, February 24th. And then 1 month later, Early Alert 3, March 24th. Typically get the tags in the system. And I'll talk about what tags are in a moment by 5 p.m. that day. So I get the alerts and then get them in the system, and then you'll be able to see that these are the students under my purview that I need to outreach to, right? So these are the dates, very important. This slide, I've had this one in here for a couple years now, and I don't know, probably one of the top 3 most important slides that we have here, the whole deck. But so what we have here is, so we have this alert system, right? We have 3 alerts. We have these dates, all right? They encompass information about a student. They're struggling in some area. Okay, that's one thing. But who does what, right? And it's important because we don't want to inundate a student. We don't want to have the whole university reaching out at one time. That would be kind of scary. And believe it or not, there's been a couple weird situations. Not everyone reaching out, but maybe 3 or 4 people, and then the students like, oh my gosh, what's going on? We don't want to do that. So what we have, so Early Alert 1, that initial alert, week 3 going into week 4, nothing really significant has happened at that point, although there could be a big issue, but nothing, no very significant academic indicators at that point. But what we have, though, and what we've found in our research is best, is we have our instructors reach out. It's a check-in. How are things going? You want to make sure you come to class. You want to make sure that you do the modules by the due date, that you take your quizzes on time, use study buddies and navigate at, just etc. Just kind of giving them resources, right, to be able to hopefully, kind of have a more good pace, right, in the course. So hopefully they don't end up early alert too. We also have our residence life, as I talked about, academic peer mentors. That's for on-campus students, and then Academic Success Center sending the off-campus student something regarding resources for early alert 1. So that's all that should be reaching out. No advisors, no other personnel, because advisors come in handy later when the rubber really hits the road. But then we have early alert 2, that usually departments and colleges. A lot of times it's like, okay, that's going to involve their midterm programming. You don't necessarily want to do that, because midterm programming is what? Week 8, week 9, around there. Yeah, it's like middle semester. Early alert 2 is like week 5, week 6. So if you wait until midterm programming, then you're missing out. A student is already another 3 weeks into the course, right? Digging themselves deeper in a ditch. We don't want that. So it's best for early alert 2 to act on that immediately. In this case, February 24th is when you want to do the intervention as soon as possible. But again, the departments and colleges, it's really up to them what they do. A lot of advisors are involved with that one, and that's great. Early alert 3, again, 2 exams by this point, maybe even more. A great percentage of the grade has been decided, as we'll see on the next slide. Academic advisors, yeah, they are the key to reach out to students. Is this a course that you realistically can pass? Do you need a Q drop? What can I connect you to help you turn things around this late in the semester? And what's interesting is we saw a couple slides ago in that table that students with EA3, early alert 3, do turn it around when given the right help and the right resources. But very, very important here. And this is just a little verbiage about why advisors should not contact students for EA1, and it's obvious, it's inundation. It's just too early in the semester. There's no real academic issue at that point. So yeah, EA2, EA3 is the way to go, not EA1. It's just too early. So this table here, what we have here is we have the alert type, which we already talked about. We know the dates, what it's based on, right? We kind of hinted at that. Obviously, more significant factors, indicators for early alert 3, and then kind of the percentage. So obviously, recovering from early alert 1 is most likely going to be easier, right, than early alert 3, just because there's a less decided at that point as far as their course grade. So if you see at the bottom there, biology, chemistry, and history departments will collect the alerts from their instructors. They give them to me, and then I put the tags in the Navigate system, and they kind of look like this. OSS 202311, EA2, for example, and then the department. So in this case, it would be chemistry, but it's going to be either biology, chemistry, or history, because those are the only departments that are part of the program. So but speaking of Navigate and speaking of tags and things like that, so this is important. So if you're a new advisor, and you definitely want to get training on this. It's a little more advanced than what you typically do on Navigate with, reporting on appointments and adding notes and looking up students and things like that. But it's running the advanced search to ascertain, right, to extract the students under your purview that have been tagged, and then also doing the appointment campaign function, because you want to do something once you get the tags, right? You want to send them something. In fact, if you have the bandwidth, you probably want to meet with them again, especially that early alert 2. As far as training and contact, we have Adrian Bentz and Shelby Salmons. I know most of y'all probably have their email. Feel free to get in touch with them, and they could be able to help you with any questions. So remember, those dates, I get the tags, I put them in the system usually by 5 p.m. and then green light, go ahead, pull the tags, and that's when it would be the best time to conduct the outreach. So here we're at the end already. Can you believe that? So here's the takeaways. We have those important dates there. February 6th, February 24th, and March 24th. Yeah, they're going to come quickly. We talked about the tag names and navigate. Nothing has changed there, only just the semester, because we're in 2023 already. We talked about advisors not conducting EA1 outreach. We know we don't want to inundate the students. And then down here we have, you definitely want to bookmark this, but maybe you already have if you're able to find this presentation, right? Because that's where it's housed, but definitely something great to have. What's great there as well, if there's something that I talked about and you want to learn more about, like Early Alert 2 and some deeper information, there you actually go to that link there, and there's a PDF and some other info on the alerts that could kind of fill in any gaps, answer some questions. But of course, if there's any questions that you do have, or comments or suggestions or whatever, feel free to get in touch with me. I love to talk about these things, and I'm very open to feedback. I'm not the type that says, well, this is the way it's going to be. Nope, this is how we make this system better and ultimately help our students, is all of us working together and listening to one another, and then say, okay, brainstorm, we got to make some changes and ultimately make this better for our students. So I also have the contact information for our EAB Navigate team there. Again, any Navigate related questions, they would be able to assist you. So, well, it has been fun. I know I kind of flew through that. This is always a pleasure, and I wish everyone the best this spring early alert season. Let's work together